Welcome back. Episode 15, I think. We brought on our Witcher 3 expert. He's been on before. He was in the Video Game Tournament 3 surprise guest. Now we have him back in the flesh. Luke, also known as Luca. Introduce yourself.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm Tony's roommate, and I'm the reason he played Witcher, got him to play. Uh, I'm a big Witcher fan. I played it 4 times from the year it released, which was in 2015, to more recently a couple months ago. So I'm happy to chop it up. Thanks for having me. Let's get it.
Hell yeah. So, you saw the title of the video. We are doing a Witcher 3 characters tier list. So, I'm going to pull that up on screen for you guys to see right now. So, we've got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, F tier, and then the irrelevant tier. So, just to give a little context, the irrelevant tier is going to be it's not necessarily that these characters are below F. It's just more so of a holding spot because their like place in the story is so well irrelevant that it can't be justified to like put them in a proper tier. And there's going to be some people here that I like don't remember the names of because I've only played through the game once. How many times have you played it?
I played it 4 times, but I've
Four
also
times.
I've watched it, so yeah, and
Oh
even
yeah.
I like Tony sent me this list of characters, and there were a couple of them where I was like, I recognize them, but like I did not know we were going this deep with that. So, um, yeah, I think I'll do my best, but I should know everyone. But there's a couple where I'm honestly not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. Like I said, he's the the internet safe space has a team of members. He's our Witcher 3 expert. He's been dubbed. Um
I'll
so
take it. I'm
let's start
knighted.
right away. Why don't you announce who our first person is? Um just look at that list that I sent you. Because I don't fucking remember who that is.
Yeah, dude, this is literally the first person I looked at. And I was like, I don't know who that is. I'm pretty sure this is. Do you remember when you go with Siri to Avalok's laboratory
Yep.
and like you discover that he's like obsessed with her and he's been collecting this research, so they think it's kind of weird. And then they meet this elf woman there that's like Avalok thinks you're disgusting. Like he only wants you for your power. Basically, just makes Siri feel like shit. So she
Yep.
has like 2 lines. That's I don't even know her name. I don't even know if they give her a name, but we'll just call her Avalok's companion. Um, and I'll just be blunt. I mean, I think she's deserving of F tier because nobody talks to Siri like that. Not on my watch. And also, she's just straight up lying. Like she's just not even telling the truth about Avalok. So for me, I mean, if she's not, I mean, she's irrelevant as fuck. But I'm literally like that. I think she's pretty deserving of F tier.
Now, obviously, in this instance, I mean, I looked at her and I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Like he said, the only reason Luke is going to be able to pull some of these people like out of his ass and actually know who they are is because he played the game 4 times. Like I could probably do that with the God of War games, but not with Witcher. So I'm not going to argue. I'm fully fine putting this woman in F
Yeah, I
tier.
could also be wrong, and this is some other character that I'm just totally mislabeling. But
Well,
either
that's what's
way,
good about the audience.
yeah, we'll see. Shit.
Like in one of the video game tournaments, I think Video Game Tournament 2, the main character of Assassin's Creed, Ezio,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
pronounced his name Enzio, and I got
Oh no,
flamed. I got flamed on TikTok for it.
by
So
random
bad.
people.
By
Oh
random people,
god.
they were like, "No way, this guy said Enzio instead of Ezio."
Yeah, I don't know if this makes it out there to like Witcher YouTube. We might be getting flamed. So we gotta do our best. Let's go. I'm
We need
ready.
we need the community
Bring
to
on
know
the
that
big.
you are the Witcher 3 expert.
I'm the expert. I'll take expert.
All right,
Let's do it.
let's do our next person. So I want to guess, is this the Baron's wife?
Yeah, yeah.
Come
Anna
on.
Stranger.
Wait,
Anna
say her name
Stranger.
again?
Also known as Gran. Before you find out that it's the Baron's wife. Um. So with her, I mean, okay, I'll just say I think the Baron quest line is one of the most just like iconic quest lines in the game because when they start out, they make the Baron seem like such an unlikable guy. And like they don't take away from the fact that he's done like a lot of fucked up shit. And like he's the reason why she ran away and seeked help from the crones to make her to deal with her miscarriage. So I will say, I mean, that whole quest line, I don't really like Anna. I feel a little bit sorry for her, but if you remember the Baron he like tells the story about how she was cheating on him while he was at war. And I don't know. I can't put a cheater like above C tier personally, regardless of kind of what led to that. So for me, I think I'll have her C tier, but I want to hear your thoughts.
So I'm glad that I was able to, when I saw her, you know what it is? Partly that made me remember was the background because I could tell she was in the forest
Yeah, in the
that the
swamps.
crones are in. It brought back
Uh,
memories. Um, so like you said, so I think that honestly, let me say this to start. I think she should be in D tier because
okay.
I feel like C tier, at least for me, is where we're gonna put people that are like as baseline neutral characters as possible. Like that you're not
Okay.
really leaning one way or the other. Like they're not as sick as Geralt, but they're also not Geralt, but they're not fucking irrelevant either, right? Um, and like you said, she's got that it's like the Baron did a fucked up thing, and she
Yeah.
also did a fucked up thing. It doesn't neither action is justified based on the others, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd call her a neutral party.
No, she's not, and I don't know. For me, like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on this one. I would say this is probably one of the characters I care the least about where she goes. It's just like the one thing that kind of holds her in C, in my opinion, is just the quest line she's involved in is just so iconic to the main story. So, but yeah, I mean, most people probably see her in somewhat of a negative light. So I mean, I can get behind D tier.
Okay. I think that we are gonna need because like so for this one, I mean you're saying you don't really care, so I'm saying we're gonna throw her in D, but there's gonna be ones I think where there's gonna be more passion. So we're gonna have to while we're going through this think of how we're gonna do a proper
Gonna
tiebreaker.
compromise. All right, all right.
Because like this one you're saying, okay, like I'll budge, throw her in D. And I'm like, all right, bet. That's where she's going. But there's gonna be a time like where you're like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and I we should probably justify also like why we're putting certain characters and like what this is all based on for me. And like that's why I was kind of confused at first when you asked me like how we're gonna rank these people. For me, it's more just like do I like them is part of it, but also kind of like the impact they have on the game and how well do I remember them and their storyline, like how pertinent is it to like the Witcher universe. So I'm kind of just meshing all of that together. Um, so yeah, with her, yeah, like I said, I can get behind D tier, but we'll see when
right,
we get to some of these other characters. We're probably gonna disagree.
definitely. Now, just for I'm going to say this to the audience because Luca can't see my screen right now, but what I'm doing is as we announce them, I'm just dragging them into C tier to start just for visibility purposes. And then I'm going to move them around because I don't want the audience to think I'm putting them in C tier. I'm just dragging them in there and then we'll move them as need be. Because I know they're about to tweak when I put Geralt in C tier just to start the conversation.
Immediate
So
dislike.
yeah, it's going to be click off, unsubscribe. This is it. With that said, let's move on to our next person,
I'm a lock.
Amalak. This
So
I knew this right away from the face.
um, he's a complex character. I'll say you kind of specified earlier. We're doing this off of just games, right? So
Just games.
okay, because his lore kind of prior to the games, and I can kind of mention this because they do mention it in like little side convos where your average person who's playing Witcher probably doesn't catch on to it. But his whole backstory is he basically like also wants to use Syria for her power, but he's not, and he's from the land of the NL, which is where Aridin is from. But he doesn't fuck with Aridin, right? Because he supported his own king, whose name was Oberon, and at one point in the game, you find out that uh, Aridin murdered Oberon, and nobody found out about it. So he wanted to like keep Syria away from him and kind of save the world from the White Frost. But at the same time, right, prior to that happening, he basically tried to kidnap Ciri and take her to Oberon to basically force her to have children with him. So when Geralt first meets him, that's the only thing he knows him. He's like, "Why is this guy?" His first instinct is like, "Why is he helping her? Like, I hate this guy. He tried to kidnap my daughter, right?" So I mean, his backstory is kind of fucked. He does make up for it, right? Like we do, and they send us on another loop, right? When you kill Aridin, he's like, Avalok has tricked us both, and it turns out it's not the case. He's purely just trying to help Ciri. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can't overlook just like his past actions. So yes, he's like very important to the story, and he does end up kind of redeeming himself. But for me, I'm gonna put him solid B tier.
I hate him.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan of him. I know.
I despise his character. I was always anti Amalok the entire. I remember
Yeah.
because so when I played this, me and Luca were still rooming together at school. So we would just like most days. I'm sitting on the couch, boot up the game, and he was just watching me and just getting my thoughts on stuff as it happened, right? Like a live let's play. And he kept asking me, like every time something new would happen, he'd be like, "So, like, do you trust Amalok now?" Like, and then like as we'd find out like more innocent things about him, Luca would be like, "Oh, like you see, like he's not so bad," and I was always just like, "No, I still don't trust him, even after everything. I still don't trust him. He's just a
Yeah.
shady motherfucker." Now,
They
Uma,
send you on that loop at the end too.
what'd you say?
They send you on like a massive loop right at the end of the game, where I'm sure in your mind, when Eridan's like, Avalok's tricked us both, you're like, I fucking knew it.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
yeah.
but so in my mind, F, instant F, despise
Yeah.
him. Now it's super biased. I know that it's a biased pick. Like I'm not,
I
I'm
know, I
not going to
know.
pretend like it's not biased. It is though. Now these situations are easier because if we're not right next to each other with tiers, then we can just meet in the middle most of the
Yeah.
time. Um, if you said B and I said F, I mean like I can settle on a C. I could settle on C because of all that back and forth. Like
He's
I
I can
could.
settle on I think D would be kind of disrespectful. You have to kind of also just remember, like, yeah, he's so unlikable, and he kind of just disrespects Geralt through the whole game and mocks him. But at the end of the day, he was truly helping Ciri. You know, he's part of the reason why she's still alive when Geralt finds her. When she's immobilized and like that whole spell he cast, like that was all him. So like, I get it, like, he's super unlikable, and his motivations are pretty selfish, honestly, but, yeah, I can't D's too low. C, I can understand C. I can understand C.
I'm
So,
down to meet in the middle at C.
we can meet
I can
there.
get behind a C pick. He would be our first C. We have one in C, one in D, one in F so far. Then, um, because I know that you're right. Like at the end of the day, I know that you're right. He is still like an important and major part of the story, and he is helping, I guess, as
Yeah,
much as he does suck badly.
yeah.
Like it's just so crazy. He goes from Uma, one of the greatest characters in the entire game, and
The
turns into just the
greatest
biggest
character.
into the biggest
Yeah,
piece of shit. All right,
okay.
so he's in C. Who's next?
So, this guy, I remember his name is BB. I'll just point him like, he's irrelevant, but, just, like, so you remember him. You remember in Corvo Bianco, like in Toussaint, Geralt gets like a house, and there's like a guy who like takes care of the house, and you can play
Oh,
Gwent with him.
yeah.
That's him. Yeah. He
Oh,
doesn't do anything. He's just like your housekeeper, basically.
A tier.
A tier.
He's
I
lit.
mean,
That's my guy.
he doesn't like have any bearing on the story at all.
Yeah,
It's like such
none.
a side character.
Zero.
I have no reason to dislike him.
All right, B
So
tier.
B tier, B tier. I think A tier is like we gotta save A tier. Like if it's all like bangers, It's like this dude, like I don't know. We're
It's
gonna be
gonna
like, what the fuck?
it's gonna be all the meme creatures and the butler S tier.
Yeah.
But if you're with it, I would love to throw him in B tier, give him some love.
Okay. B tier.
All right.
BB and B tier.
BB and B tier. It makes sense. It makes sense. That's good. I'm glad that he's ahead of Amalok. That's very valid and definitely not wrong at all.
We'll see. If someone just skips to the end and comments, why is this dude in there? They gotta
They're
refer back to this.
they're gonna just say who the fuck is that?
Probably, yeah.
Be like, who's that guy? Why is he in B tier ahead of all these other relevant people?
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Who we got next?
So there's a lot of rock trolls in the game. I'm gonna assume this is Bart, who is Dijkstra's troll, who like guards his treasure. You have a couple conversations with. I could be wrong, but he's probably the most important troll, at least to the main story. Um, I mean, he's funny. Like all the trolls are funny. It doesn't really serve that much of a purpose. It's more just like a comedic kind of aspect of the whole quest line where you know Dandelion robbed him, but you have to pretend like you don't, and you're going in there trying to find the treasure, and you have a conversation with him in front of Dijkstra. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll just refer to you. He can't go in A or S tier. He's such a middle of the road character. Like I would put him irrelevant, but I know you like these guys and just all the creatures. So if you
Bro,
want
I
to have
swear
him on there,
I was about to say A.
B, dude. You can't. If we're looking at some of the people, okay, probably spoiler. I'm down to get with you on Johnny being up there. Johnny's a goat.
Johnny
Johnny's the
is
goat.
goaded.
So yeah, this he's not Johnny.
No, I know. I know he's not Johnny. And that's actually a great point because I would not put him and Johnny in the same tier.
Yeah,
So
Johnny's
I well,
Tony Wilson.
where would you put him?
Him?
Yeah, the
No,
rock
like
troll.
so, okay, C is not like a bad score. It doesn't mean we like dislike you, right? It's
No, it's
like
not a
kind
bad
of
score.
yeah, I'd put him C tier.
All right, I'll do C. I'm down to do C because I know I gotta try and hold back my creature bias. But the rock trolls are literally so fire.
I gotta remember because my mama would not be happy with a C, so a little different here.
Now, would you put the rock troll ahead or behind of Amalok?
uh,
I'm
probably
letting you
behind.
I'm letting you run this one. Like I'm not gonna argue. If you want him
So
behind
where do we
Amalok,
have
that's fine.
Amalok C tier? That,
Amalok
but
and
he's
the rock troll are
I
in
don't dislike
C.
this guy. I'm fine. They can be together, C tier.
They're together in C tier right now.
That's fine. Yeah, keep them there.
But we have so like in the tier list, we have to pick like it can be higher or more below within the tier. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's behind.
He's behind.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're wrong, but I'll let it happen. Rock troll is chilling in C tier next.
This is Berna Bran, who in some playthroughs, actually, it's possible to not find out. She's the reason why all the Jarl's sons get murdered when like Skellige is picking a new king. Um, but at the end of the day, she's just a scheming, like absolute just cunt. Like she just also totally disrespects Geralt whenever you speak to her. Kind of pays you no mind. Um, and yeah, depending on the quest line, I usually side with Ceres on being the ruler, but with Hjalmar too, I'm pretty sure you can find out it's her. Um, so she's just a horrible person. I get it, like part of her kind of like she's important to the story, but she's very, very unlikable. So I mean, I'm fine with D or lower here.
Okay. So I'm struggling so hard to even remember who she is. But I definitely remember many people like it's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I have memories of characters being disrespectful to girl and me being like this person sucks, but because I dislike them so much, I didn't even take the mind to like remember their face or name. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She would fall into that category for me. So it's like I would be chill throwing her down an F with that other woman that's down there.
they're F.
So, but the question is, would you put her ahead or behind of the other person in F?
I would argue just because of like what she did, so much worse. She had all these innocent Jarl's like sons
Yeah.
killed just because she wanted to maintain power over the throne. Yeah, I should have mentioned she was the wife to the king who died. So
Okay.
her kind of whole argument was it should be like a line that continues. There shouldn't be like a new kind of vie for power. Like it should just be like a monarchy, right? So it should be her son who becomes king. And yeah, they don't agree with that. So she just takes matters upon her own hands, tries to murder everyone. So I would say that's worthy of F.
All right. F tier it is. Throwing her down there. Still nobody that's been put in the full on irrelevant tier yet.
Oh,
And no
there's
A's and no
we'll get
S's.
there. We'll get there.
Next.
All right. I said it earlier. This is the Baron. Anyone in his quest, like I just think his quest line. I think that's like the first point in the game where they kind of hook you, where you like just want to find out more about this guy and like why his wife and daughter have gone missing. Obviously, he's like a very flawed man. He's an alcoholic. They make you think he's the reason behind Anna's miscarriage, even though he's not. But he is fully the reason why they fled. So um, he's not a good dude. But they still like this is something they do so well. They make these flawed characters, yet they make their background so complex. And the more you dig into it, the more you like Olgierd. It's kind of similar to this, where like you actually start to feel for them. It's like this guy might not be as horrible as like I first kind of made him out to be. And I think
Yeah.
just that alone, like, just like how like complex his whole backstory is, like and I think he does kind of redeem himself at the end with Tamara, and depending on the ending you get, I remember your ending not so good for him, but I think most people get the ending where Anna doesn't get turned into a drowner and he can like take and she's just like losing her mind. He like takes her off to see some healer. I feel like he's worthy of A tier.
A tier. Okay, so that's I feel like the Witcher community would probably be like, "Whoa." But you've always had a soft spot for the Baron.
Yeah, I just kept trying to make you like him.
That was one of the first quests like that I really remember doing. Like the first quest that
Yeah,
had some weight to it, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, so I in my playthrough I got the ending where his wife does turn into a monster and then the Baron ends up hanging himself and Luca was not happy that that's the ending that I got. But
But
he is
you
right. He
cannot
makes
see
a
that
great
coming.
point.
Yeah.
What?
You can't see it coming. It's not your fault, right?
Yeah,
You're just
you
trying to
can't. I
say,
had
let's
no
say it.
idea.
The tree spirit like finessed you basically.
Oh man, the whole thing. Oh my god, the tree spirit. You were like, "Do you trust this tree spirit?" I was like, "I might."
I don't know. But that's the thing with a lot of endings, like a lot of games nowadays, I feel like they have like these storybook kind of good endings. Something The Witcher does really well is they just present you two equally bad, horrible endings, and you kind of just have to like make a rational decision on which one you think is the better outcome. And in this case, you don't even know what's going to happen. You can just tell something bad is going to happen regardless. So yeah, I don't know. I think like what you said, that was the first quest that you really remember. I think that's like the first point in the game where you're like, whoa, like the writers they kind of cooked here with this one. So he's A for me.
So I'm down. I actually am down to put him in A because I don't know if I can. Like it's that complexity thing, man. It really puts me in a tough spot. Like thinking about his character because it's like, wow, what a piece of shit, but like a real guy. still, like a
We're
real
not
person.
condoning his actions by putting him there.
Yeah, we're not promoting his actions, not even close, but it's like, are we about to put him next to Geralt's butler?
No.
No. So I'm down to put him in A. I think that that's fair. He does hold some weight. Um, I think S is going to have to be extremely exclusive given the jump.
Yeah.
Um, if anything, you know what? Nah, 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 nah. Never mind. Forget it. All right, let's just move on. The next one's a crone, right?
That is um Brewis.
Brewis. Oh, that's the big one.
Big one. Yeah. I mean all the crowns kind of go together. There. I mean, yeah. This is part of the Baron quest line. Like I said, like obviously these are horrible, and I don't like them by any means. But what I do like is, from my understanding, they're very pertinent and like relating to the Polish kind of folklore from the time period. The Trail of Treats. It's literally just like Hansel and Greta, just like a fairy tale from back in the day. So if you remember, they like lure basically orphans in to eat them, which is horrible. Like they're fucked up people. But I don't like them, but I like their like the storytelling and how they kind of intertwine them with the Baron quest. And I think you can just there's no difference between all of them apart from just one living at the end. So we'll probably see one of them in Witcher 4. But I think you can kind of put all of them together in the same tier, wherever we end up putting them. I would not put them in A, probably not in B, but I don't think they're like F. So,
I don't think they're F either because they are like. Well, first, also I also just like their character design too. Like for an enemy, um,
oh yeah.
there's a lot of good character design in The
I
Witcher,
think
but
I could be wrong on this, but I think if I remember, the way like their masks are were actually how they were murdered when they were still alive. So, like, her having a basket, I'm pretty sure she was killed like that. So that's just become, like, part of her character design.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right, their design is pretty cool, right?
yeah.
So,
But
um,
I would probably say they're in D tier. I don't think I'd put them in C because like they're not likable in the way that the rock troll's likable, and they're not
yeah,
like
no,
cunning and complex and important the way that Avalok is. So
no.
I don't think they
Yeah,
should be in the same tier. I think D tier is appropriate though.
yeah, yeah. They're not, like, super complex, in terms of, like, they don't really try to trick you or, like yeah, I think D tier, just from the sole point of what they do to people, um, even like they like collect ears. Do you remember like the Down Warren like Elderman? He cuts his ear off to
Oh
give them
yes, I
as
do actually. I remember that.
yeah. So, like there's some fucked up individuals. So yeah, yeah, I mean D tier, I can get behind D tier. Yeah, Weevis, Wispus, Brewis, and I think the Crow one, which is Weevis,
Yeah, I was just
survived.
dragging them. I was just dragging them all in. I've got a second screen next to me right now that I'm looking at. But okay, so
Gotcha,
I just
gotcha.
pulled them into D tier. All right. So next we have.
Caranthier, who is also known as the Golden Child, which is something I actually like totally missed the first two times I played this game. But his backstory very tied into Avalok. So Avalok is basically like he's like his Avalok's adopted son. So he basically like bred him up. Avalok's like really old. He was alive during when Lara Doran was alive. So there's a whole backstory of how he wanted to marry Lara Doran, who's like the starter of the Elder Blood gene, which is related to Ciri. And he basically got finessed by her, and she got with a human. So Avalok, we should have mentioned all this when we were talking about Avalok, but this is related to him. So he's like Avalok basically bred this dude up, and he tried to make him like this amazing navigator as a way to be part of the protecting Ciri and reclaiming the Elder Blood gene. and basically he turned evil. He's like a little mini Darth Vader in a way because he betrays Avalok and sides with Aridin.
Yeah.
So Avalok, like at the end of the game, he's like okay with you murdering him, but he like you can tell it like gives him like regret because like this was supposed to be like his chosen son. I think that most people probably don't catch on to any of that. Yeah, like surface level, he's just like a wild hunt general. His boss fight's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think just the fact that he has a lot more layers to him than meets the surface. I think he's somewhere in B, maybe back end of B.
I'm given like, dude, I got no opinion on this guy. Like, I'm not even gonna try to fake it. You can fully
B.
decide where he
B.
goes.
You
Also,
can put him in
because
the back of B.
I don't want to waste, uh, I don't want to waste our precious time when I really don't know enough about them. Especially because if you look at the list of who we still have left, we just hit the 30-minute mark.
A lot of these are gonna hit relevant. Like getting
I
through.
know. We're gonna get to that point where it's just like, yeah, down, down, down. But
All right,
I'm down to put him in
this guy.
B, but I want him behind the Butler. That's my clause.
That's fine. Yeah, I said back of B is okay.
Okay. So we'll
This
throw
guy,
him
right?
in B.
This guy. Funny droll, funny dwarf, blows stuff up. He's part of the heist quest. He can be irrelevant though.
Oh my god. I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him. I Oh my god.
He's like threatening to like blow himself up when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
first
yeah. I
find him.
remember. I remember.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
talked him down and he joined my group.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't talk him down, he just blows himself
Just
up and you have to
explodes.
take like the safe cracker guy.
Um yeah, I mean, if- did you say irrelevant for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how we can't, he's just so insignificant in terms of the story, and also
Yeah.
because if you don't talk him down, he's not even in the game. He just explodes and it's
Yeah,
over.
like some people might not even get a playthrough with him. So
All right, next.
this is Saris Ankrait, the daughter of the Jarl of Ankrait. Um, I think she's a solid A or B tier. She was ahead of her times, right? I think it's kind of um, respectable that she like at that point, no, there had never been a queen of Skellige, and she was the first woman to lay like a claim to the throne. So she was very like progressive, ahead of her time. So we got to respect that here, internet safe space. We support you know, the people who are willing to take a step,
100%.
women's
We
rights
do.
and everything. So yeah, I'm a fan. And she's smart too. Like Hjalmar's obviously cooler. What he does, he kills like the giant, and she just like gets this crazy Jarl to stop hurting himself. You remember the quest where you throw the baby into the oven? That's her
Dude,
like main quest.
one of the most insane quests. But
Yeah.
I didn't have her become the ruler, right?
Yeah, because I think you helped Hjalmar. So
Yeah,
Hjalmar
he
became
was lit.
king.
I love that guy. A
Yeah,
tier him.
yeah. So I think she's a solid B.
I'll throw her in B. You want to put her top of B ahead of the Butler? Yeah. She's got a little bit. I think she's got like just a tiny bit more context than him. Just a little
Yeah.
bit. All right. Next.
Oh, this is Carlo Varisi, I think is his name, also known as the Cleaver. So he's like the closest thing you have to Tony Soprano in The Witcher. So we gotta respect that. But he ultimately has like no like I kind of one of my things they make all the Novigrad like criminal bosses seem like pretty badass, but they end up not really giving them that many lines.
Yeah.
And I think that's something they probably cut out of the game when they released Witcher is they're trying to make the story shorter. So I think they lost like a lot of their content. So he ends up being kind of irrelevant. He's kind of cool, but I think he's like a C. There's no reason to dislike him.
But you think that he's relevant enough to where he wouldn't be in the irrelevant category?
Yeah,
Okay.
compared to some of these other people, yeah,
Yeah, I'll put him in C. Um, do you want him ahead of Avalok or behind?
behind.
Behind, and do you want him
I
behind the
think
rock
you
troll
say
or
every
ahead?
time. Uh, eh. Wait. Yeah, Avalok should be ahead. He should be, but he should be ahead of the Rock Troll.
Ahead of the rock troll. Okay, I'm fine
Yeah,
with that. I'm fine with that. I like the rock troll, but I understand.
yeah.
All right,
This is Croc
next.
on Crate. Croc on Crate. He's the Jarl of Ankrait. So he's the father of Ceres and Hjalmar. He has a
That
lot of
Yomor, that's my
backstory.
fucking guy.
Yeah, he has a lot of backstory in the books, but he's a good guy at the end of the day. I think it's very noble how when you go to fight Eredin, Nilfgaard's like invading Skellige, and they're like about to take over the land, and he like throws that away and is like, I'm gonna help Geralt, my boy, and he goes and gets murdered by Eredin right before you fight Eredin. He murders him. So you know, he was willing to risk his life for us. We gotta respect the guy. So I think he's a top of B tier.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that a lot, and I always like it might just be an aspect of my personality. I'm a guy who if we were gonna make like a list of values, loyalty is always high up there. So whenever I play a video game and there's those few characters that are like just stupidly loyal to you, like no
Ride
matter
or
what.
die.
Like
Yeah.
I always like glaze them. I'm like, yeah, that's my guy.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
fucking love Dandelion. You know what I mean? Like for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons, but one of them is because of that loyalty aspect. Like, you remember when he bails you out?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. Depending on your ending of Blood
yeah,
and Wine.
well, he bailed
Yeah.
me out because I was
Yeah.
going to jail.
Because everyone died.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get to
Yeah.
that when we
Yeah.
talk about
We'll
Dandelion.
get to
But
that. We'll get to that.
I honestly, I would even like for me, I put this guy ahead of the Baron personally.
A tier. I can
I
get
think he
behind
should
that.
be an A. I think he should
Like
be an A ahead
from
of the
a
Baron.
loyalty to Geralt standpoint, and like in terms of like likability, he's at the top. So I mean, yeah, that's one. Yeah, I'm not gonna contest you. If you want to put him A, it's fine.
Hell yeah! All right, so let's put him up there, and then next.
Yeah, I don't remember this dude's name. I'll be honest. But he's super important to Blood and Wine. Uh, all the knights, their names kind of get mixed up for me, but
Yeah.
um, he's like kind of a dickhead. So in the beginning, he doesn't trust you, and he never kind of takes your advice. And then
Well, I
finally,
remember him.
yeah,
I
finally,
thought he
like
was the murderer.
Geralt convinced. No, yeah, right. Yeah, you're like fuck this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought he was fully the murderer.
so hostile to you for no reason. And then at the end of the game, this is what puts him down there for me. And this might have just been something that the script writers for Blood and Wine just didn't want to like work on. But if you find out that Sienna was planning to murder Anna Henrietta, you can tell him, "Hey, your queen is about to be murdered, so you should probably like do something about it." And he's like, "Oh, thank you, Geralt. Thank you for this very important information." And then you just watch her fucking murder her. He doesn't do anything about it. Blood just stands there, and then they shoot her after she stabs Anna Henrietta with the butterfly, whatever that thing is called that you put in your hair. So he's
That
probably
made me
D.
so mad, dude. Do you remember how frustrated I was about that ending? Because
Yeah.
I wanted the ending where Sienna died and Anna lived. That's what I
But
wanted to happen.
the only way to do that is if uh, Detloff kills Sienna.
I know.
Otherwise, like she can just no matter what you say to her, your sister wanted to murder you. She hates you with a burning passion. Anna Henrietta's like, no, I cannot believe this. She's my sister. It just refuses to do anything about it. So
So
yeah,
annoying because she was chill. Like she was like I liked her character. She's a good ruler.
I get it, dude. It's sorry with the Sopranos references, but it's kind of like Janice and Tony. Like Janice is such a bitch, but because she's family, Tony can never like,
Yeah.
like let go of that. So it's the same kind of thing with her.
So
I've
wait,
been
who are we
watching a
gonna?
lot of Sopranos, you know.
Oh, we're on the bald knight that I thought was the murderer. I mean, like
Yeah,
you
F or
pick
D.
because I don't really care. I mean, I think I'll give you my baseline. I think he should be C or below.
D, bottom of D.
Okay. Oh, below. You want him below the crones?
Uh, Low key. Just because
Okay.
that one thing, and I don't even know if it's so much his character, it just pisses me off, bro. How you give him that information and Bloods like, "Okay," and then just lets her fucking die regardless, so, yeah. Unless you convince Sienna, that's the only way to save both of them. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a safe space.
it's a safe space.
Alright.
We're on Dandelion.
Dandelion. That's the OG ride or die character for Witcher, right? He has to be somewhere in A or S. I don't know how deep our S tier is gonna be, but like I don't even need to say that much about it. Everyone knows who Dandelion is. Um, he'll always have your back no matter what, and he makes Geralt famous. He writes all the songs about him. You remember like in the toss a coin to you, which that's
Oh,
Dandelion.
Valley of
Dandelion wrote that.
Plenty.
Yeah. So
That song is awesome.
hey, he's fire. On that loot
Dude,
to get
he's
him going.
first S tier. Has to be.
Yeah, how many people are we like estimating are going S tier?
So my current plan is if S tier ends up getting more than like six, we're gonna split it.
Yeah,
It'll be split into an S plus and an S minus.
fair enough. My whole thing is just, and you can already imagine who the two people I'm gonna name are. I just don't know how you can't put them in their own tier at the top. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you because when I made my One Piece tier list, I separated I separated Luffy from
Luffy
every
has to
like I
be
just
top.
put a
Yeah,
Luffy
yeah.
tier and then I put a
Luffy,
tier for his entire crew
yeah,
and
and
then it
then
was like S and the rest, you know. So
Amazon and S.
we'll make a separate one that's just
All
can
right,
just be
word.
them two. We won't spoil who they are, but if you don't know, how do you not know?
Yeah,
But we can put Dandelion as our first S
S
tier
tier, S tier, S tier.
and botch. We're on botchling.
Awesome. I'm gonna let you talk about this one. I need to fix my camera for like 10 seconds. So you go.
Um, so what I remember about botchling, and when Luca comes back, he can correct me if I'm wrong, is that so the Baron's wife had an abortion and or miscarriage or whatever, like lost the child, and the botchling is like the child's restless spirit. Um, that's like something is goes wrong with the spirit and it can't go lay to rest, so it turns into this like weird baby monster, also known as a botchling that you can see right here. Um, and don't forget, I'm dragging in the relevant characters into C tier every time that I throw them in, and then we'll move them around. So this is the botchling, right? Luca thinks that this is going to be my one of those like meme creatures that I actually put high, but honestly, like I don't really care for the botchling that much. It's more of just
Okay.
a funny
More
joke.
Uma.
No, Uma is S.
More of an Uma guy. Okay.
I'm going to fight
So
him
now
being S,
Bosling.
but um, is what I said about the botchling more or less what it is?
Yeah, you nailed it. Um, he helps you if you turn him into a lubberkin, or you can kill him.
I didn't
He's
kill him, right?
borderline irrelevant, but I'd put him C.
Um,
Oh, I think he names it. Oh God, how do I not remember? Dea. He names her Dea. The botchling has a name. That's like part of like the turning into a Leverkin thing.
I remember
It's
when we first encountered the botchling, I did try to kill it, and I was so underleveled, I just couldn't even do it. So I was like, all right, let's just save it.
yeah, we're saving it.
It's just saving it
Yeah,
instead, which
yeah.
was still hard because it was those blue ghosts that you have to use the purple sign
Yurden.
on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yurden.
It was
You have to use
annoying. That's
Yurden,
an early game killer.
and that was so early game, and I was so bad at signs.
You remember the hardest boss from the early game, dude? Pack of Wolves.
Yeah, I used to get destroyed by wolves consistently.
Yeah, bro.
Like I beat
Death
Olgierd
Mark's
first
honestly
try.
hardest in the beginning when you're still learning the game.
Yeah,
If you just rip Death March, yeah, those wolves are killer.
so bad. Um, so I think I think no, yeah, Botchling should be C because honestly, I don't want him to be in the same tier at, or her, whatever it is. They, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Probably
We don't
shouldn't go
assume
in D
that.
because Gran is worse than the Botchling. So, in my mind, in a
Okay.
tier list. So I think
Yeah.
very bottom of C because the Rock Troll is a better creature.
This is another one I'm not that passionate about where she ends up, so that's
Okay,
fine.
tell me the next person we got here.
Detloff. Um, Detloff is so freaking cool. Uh, he's obviously a serial killer, so not super likable when you first kind of meet him, but then you find out he's being like coerced into killing by Sienna and being blackmailed. And they kind of make you feel for him a little bit until he just decides to just unleash like all the vampires on the city. So you're like, bro, like that is that really necessary? So he has kind of a hot temper. I will say just he has aura. His boss fight. I vividly remember like when you start the boss fight with him, he's like, if you acknowledge any gods, start praying now. Just like such a badass like boss line. So I think he's and like I said, just like the complexity of his character. I think he's like a worthy A tier.
I think he's worthy A tier too. He's super interesting, and I really like how the conversations he has with Geralt because so many of the bosses that you fight in this game just want to kill you instantly,
Yeah.
and Detloff like doesn't. He literally says he's like, just go, get out of here. I'm not gonna kill you, no
Yeah, he does
problem. You,
not want to fight you.
he's
Yeah.
ready to spare you your life, no problem,
Yeah.
and that you only fight him if you're like, yeah, bro, I'm killing you. Like and his
Yeah.
boss fight was it was one of the harder ones, easily a top 10 hardest in the game. Um, nowhere near on the level as the Toad, but it
Yeah.
was hard. Like you remember when I figured out the audio cue and you because remember when I started being able to
Yeah.
dodge the bat attack first try and you're like, how are you dodging that? And I was like, I'm using the fucking audio cues.
Yeah, and like I've never played many Souls likes. I played Bloodborne, and then I remember like when it first came out, and I just got so frustrated that I just put it down. So yeah, I'm not familiar with like the whole audio coup strategy. So that was the first time I've ever seen something like that. So props, you figured him out. You unlocked him.
It was a great boss fight. It was really cool. And he's a great character. So I think, yeah, definitely throw him in A. Um, I think he has so much more substance than the others in A. I think we should just throw him at the top. I mean, he's such a major part of that DLC. Like I don't know why we would put him anything lower than them.
Yeah, agreed, agreed.
Okay, let me put him in. All right, you don't even need to say it. Dijkstra, one of the best top 10 character in the game, in my opinion. Dijkstra is sick. Let me. I didn't even put him on screen yet for everybody to see. Dijkstra. Um, Geralt has a very interesting relationship with Dijkstra, and he's in love with an owl. Um,
Yeah.
but Dijkstra is a spy. First off, great Gwent card. I mean, you pull Dijkstra and you're very
Oh
happy
yeah.
about it.
Two
Um,
more cards.
don't even get me started on Gwent. I actually want to do a podcast, Luca, like a separate one where we talk about Gwent and we just play each other in Gwent over and over, like while we're talking
Oh,
about the game.
the standalone.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
I'm down.
I can pull up, I can have the gameplay on screen, and we can just be like talking about Gwent and just playing each other over and over.
Yeah.
I think
I
that'd be
saw they're
fun.
bringing it back. They're bringing it back to Witcher 4. There's gonna be Gwent 2.
That's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Dijkstra's a spy, and in his relationship with Geralt is interesting. You can because he's an asshole. Like realistically, like I like his character because I feel like for the most part, he as much as he's like a dickhead about a lot of stuff, I always say this to Luca. I said there's an underlying respect for Geralt. Like it's there. It's just like covered in all of his like hatred and like not outwardly wanting to show it, like energy. But I think he really shows his true colors when remember when he's going to murder everyone and you can stop him, but he says to, he's like, "Hey, you're not part of this." That's like
Yeah.
the reason I didn't fight him is because in that moment I'm like, if he didn't have any respect for me and thought I was a headache, he would have just tried to kill me right there, like kill Geralt. But he has enough respect to say, like, you can go, like, get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you work with him a lot, like it or not. You guys, like Geralt and Dijkstra, do work together, and you do lie to him sometimes, But I don't know. I really like him. Like in
But
my
he
eyes,
knows. He knows you're lying when you do.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
just like you.
That's
You,
the thing.
you be,
He's probably like one of the smartest characters in the whole game. He's a genius. He doesn't
yeah.
look like it, but the guy is so smart and he knows when you're lying to him. But he'll like I don't know. I agree with everything you said. Honestly, like I would put him S tier if not for what you said about the ending. That's the one thing where I just don't understand. Like, if you know anything about Vernon and Vess, Geralt can't just let them die because of like everything that he's done. Like they've always been at their side, and we can get into that when we talk about them. But that whole just like ending, like I understand killing Radovid, I understand you want to save Redania, but like, bro, how can you just knowing that Geralt, like, why, like, he's supposed to be the smartest guy, yet he's just like, oh yeah, send my people on this Witcher that has murdered so many people. He, how can you not foresee him killing you? So in my playthrough, I have to kill him. I love the guy. Like I think he's a hilarious character. Just like that moment, I just can't side with him. So I think if it wasn't for that, he'd be S tier. I'm fine putting him like top of A.
I think that I think he's just. I truly think he is a tier above A tier because A tier has Detloff and the Baron, and I don't know. In my head, it doesn't seem like I can just throw Dijkstra next to those guys. Like we're gonna end up splitting up S anyways into like an S plus and S minus, and
I'm
him and
fine
S
bottom of S.
minus. What?
Bottom of S. We
Yeah,
can
bottom of
settle
S.
bottom of
He's
S.
not ahead of Dandelion. No way.
Yeah.
And honestly, they shouldn't even be in the same tier, and they won't be because we're gonna split it. If anything, I can just split it now. If we're gonna split it anyways, but he
Okay,
would
let's
be
do
an
it.
S minus, not an S plus.
Yeah. I like from the standpoint that a lot of people might even play Witcher and not get the Reasons of State quest where you kill Radovid. Because I don't know if you remember the part where he's trying to take Philippa, who's the owl. Um, uh, you can like save her, and then as you're taking her out, they give you an option to like push him aside, and you click on push him aside, and Geralt literally breaks his leg. And that like totally cancels the whole Radovid Reason to State quest line. So like the first time I played Witcher, I did that. I just clicked push him aside, and I didn't even know like that the killing Radovid thing just like is possible. I just assumed like, oh, like I guess it just doesn't happen. So yeah, I just finished the game with Radovid alive. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people like might not even see that scene that I'm referring to. So I like it's just that one scene, just like it just doesn't make sense to me. I guess it's not so much a reflection of how I feel about him. It's more just like that quest in general. I don't understand why the writers of the game were like, let's just kill like let's force you to kill important characters to the game for no reason, right? So
I just edited the list while you were telling us saying all that. Um, so now there's an S plus and S minus. S plus is Dandelion. He's currently running this tier list, and then Dijkstra is in the S minus. And then I'm gonna wait until the end, but then I'll put the. It's not even gonna be called S plus. I'm just gonna name it blank and blank at the very top.
okay, okay, okay.
Um, but we'll move on to the next one. Dude, I don't remember who this is.
He's a Jarl. I'm pretty sure his name is Donar. He has almost zero bearing on the story. He's just there for like all the Skellige quests. So
Relevant.
um, he's probably. I mean, he's not like unlikable. He's just a normal dude. So he's probably irrelevant.
Yeah,
He's either
he's just
C
like a
or irrelevant.
guy, part of the
Yeah,
story, but like,
not
yeah.
really. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll throw him down there. Um, and who's next?
Anna Henrietta.
Okay, yes. That's I
Queen.
wasn't positive, but
She's no, she's cool. Like she's if you look at like your average queen, you don't think of Anna Henrietta. Like she's kind of cool. She's like a horse rider. Um, she's like willing to get herself dirty, kind of, right? So, and you go to the ball with her. She's a little bit naive with the whole Sienna thing. Um, and just like the whole, remember the scene where it's like all the vampires, Detloff, Regis, and Oriana are all sitting there, and she's just clueless to the whole thing that all three people in front of me are vampires. She's just
yep.
clueless. So she's a little stupid, but you gotta like respect her, right? And it's a queen that like puts trust in Geralt. So I think she's a solid top of B.
I agree with you. Actually, I don't even have anything else to say. Because I liked her a lot. I think she was. It bothered me beat that because I wanted to like her more, and I'm like, oh, you trust Geralt, like you seem like a good ruler. Like she was a queen that I liked. But then she just no, she would not. I didn't want her to die. I liked her. I didn't want her to die, and the problem is she's the reason she died because she just wouldn't see through.
Yeah.
And I
You
get
even
it, it's
say it.
family,
You even
but
say it. You say it when you're up there. Sienna wanted to kill you, and she was like, "No, hug me, and stab." So, yeah,
um, this is this guy from the Gwent tournament?
no,
What is he from? This little dude.
he's he's doo doo. So he's a Doppler. Um, so do you remember the quest where you do like the performance? So he was with Siri, and you try to
Yeah.
like get this Doppler to show himself. So you put on this whole play to basically tell
Yes.
him like, "We're your friend. We're not trying to hurt you." So that's him. Um, other than that, there's a small little follow-up if you kill, what's his face? Horson Jr. If you kill Horson Jr., then he like poses as him and he like
Dude,
makes
that guy.
Horson. Yeah. So I don't know. He's not irrelevant. He's not like disliked, but I think he's probably somewhere in top of C if I had to put him somewhere.
Yeah, I would probably put him right behind Avalok. I'm fine with that if
Yeah,
you're fine with
that's
that.
fine. I'm fine with that.
Um, Here we go.
I would be very surprised if you have any fucking clue who this bitch is.
No, I don't remember.
She's so there's like an ambassador Var Atra who's like a Nilfgaardian ambassador. Um, and this is his daughter. And when you are like looking for all the girls Dandelion was hooking up with, she is one of the
Oh,
people you have to visit. So you do like a
okay.
little sword fighting thing
I
with
remember that
her.
quest. That was a funny quest.
I think the devs were gonna put in like a sex scene with her, and then they're like, we have too many, and they like cut hers out because there's a whole quest where it like looks seems like it's leading to that, and then Geralt just gets blue balled. So for that, she's F tier.
I
You
have no
don't blue
opinion.
ball my guy. You don't do that to Geralt, bro. She finessed him. But I can't ride with that, bro. All the signs were there, and she's just
I
like,
thought there
nope.
was some chemistry.
Yes, dude. And I think anyone who plays that quest is like. expecting, my boy Geralt, he's about to get some. Nope. She just
So
yeah,
you're
shot
saying F tier.
F tier.
F tier it is. Okay.
She's
I
kind of a
don't
snobby bitch too, it's not just that, but this guy, so irrelevant. It's part of the same quest where you have to go see all the people Dandelion was with. He's like this gay elf who Dandelion got with, but didn't know he was a man. So I guess he's not gay. He just like dresses up as a woman. He doesn't. They don't ever like. It's a thin line, obviously, but they don't ever specify. He's pretty relevant. Like we can just move
Yeah,
on.
he's already been placed in the irrelevant tier. I kind of
Okay.
remember what you're talking about. And yeah, there's no specification. It doesn't really matter anyways. There's no like pull on the story whatsoever, so
Yeah.
we can
All
just
right.
move on.
Amir. Very complex character. Very complex character. He's Ciri's biological father. He is the one who gives you the quest to
F.
locate Ciri in the first place. Awful human. If you know his backstory, he murdered Ciri's mother, Pavetta, but that's never really specified in Witcher 3. Um, he's a very cunning kind of ruler in terms of like he's very strong and wise, yet some of his past actions are so horrible that it's kind of unexcusable. And like they kind of make you dislike him because it's like you're Geralt, like you're Ciri's true father, and like this dude is like trying to take her from you. So I will say one thing that's kind of random, but I never knew this. This guy Charles Dance is his voice actor, who's actually in Lord of the Rings, who's like very like so. I think he does have like some aura. Like he when you have conversations with him, it's like this kind of cool. But he's like a bad dude. So I think somewhere C, maybe bottom of B.
There's no way in hell he's going in C.
Where are you
Fucking hate
putting
that
him?
guy.
You putting him F?
Now we don't have to put him in F. It's because
You put him B. It's fine.
he can be in D. It's just I'll let you pick. Do you want him ahead of Gran or behind?
Ahead. My whole thing is like he actually has like a pretty important bearing on the story. So even though he's like very unlikable, um, you gotta at least give him that. Like I can't put him that low. He's not
Is
evilest
Eridan
evil.
next?
Eridan. Yes, sir.
Eridan.
So Eridan, super cool. Like the whole like build up to fighting him, like they make you excited to fight Eridan, right? Like and just like his whole kind of like armor set, like it's pretty badass.
He looks
Obviously
terrifying.
also terrible guy, right? Like he's trying to basically use Siri for her power. You later find out the cause is at least somewhat noble because his like world is ending and he's trying to use Siri to like save his people. But like I said earlier, he murdered his king, Oberon. Um, just aura alone, though, I think he can't be like lower than C. But I will say the most disappointing thing about him is his fight is so easy. Like they kind of like make you like afraid of him in a way, and it's like this is like the main boss guy, and like the fight is like a joke. Uh, maybe it's not so much like a reflection on him. Again, that's like just a qualm I have with the game, but yeah, I think he's somewhere in C.
Yeah, I mean he's the final boss of the game and an insanely integral part of the story. So yeah, definitely agree. I think C tier is fine. I would if his boss fight wasn't so easy, I would put him B.
Yeah.
But like
No, I agree. I agree.
it's just
It's
not
so
as
simple.
good as like that other guy, the prince or the this golden sun or whatever. Like he's got a better
Yeah,
boss
his
fight.
fight is harder. Yeah, it doesn't make any even the other guy, remember, like, the guy you meet at the top of the mountain, Elmerith?
Yeah,
His
yeah, yeah,
fight is
yeah.
harder.
Yeah. He's probably the
So,
best of the 3,
yeah,
in my opinion.
and yeah, yeah, and then his fight is just ass. So,
Yeah. So
yeah,
Eridan,
you gotta go
um,
lower for it is a
I mean,
game it's a video game at the end of the day, right? So we gotta judge it off of that. Like,
I'd
that
probably
should be the
put
determining factor, is
I would
the
put
fact
him
that it's such a joke.
what?
It should be a determining factor because we're talking about a video game, right?
Oh,
So the
yeah.
fact that you're the main boss and your fight is a joke, like that just destroys all the aura that you had building up, and then it's just like, bro. I don't even have to reload one time, just kill your ass. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
I mean, I would probably put him ahead of Amalok though, because I fucking hate Amalok. And it's fucking Eridan, like, bro,
Uh, okay,
you don't
that's
like that,
fine.
do you?
No, I'm. I don't. That's probably the one disagreement I have the most is Avalok, but I can understand your hatred to him, so we can put
It's
him
it's
there.
hard. It's really hard not to. Um,
This is all just opinions, right? It's not a subjective list, so
it's
it's not like
very opinionated. Yeah.
yeah. So,
That's why doing the tier list with two people is hard because it's like when I did the Mario Kart tier list, I purposely did it with three because we we dubbed the third guy as the tiebreaker because then it was just like, okay, we don't agree. This guy just tell us where and then it's done. But
okay,
for this one, we kind of just have to go with the flow as best we can.
okay.
Um, all right. Who's this guy? The next one.
This is Ermion, also known as Mousak in the books and the TV series. He like took care of Siri when she was a little girl, and he's like the main. I don't even know the word for it. He's not a mage. It's like a druid. I think I saw you hate druids.
Yeah,
He's a
because of
druid.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. So, uh, but he does come and help fight when you remember the Battle of Kaer Morhen, and he doesn't
Yeah,
even question. Like the dude immediately drops everything. He's like, "I'll come protect Siri." So from that standpoint, he's a loyal guy. He's a little moody at times when you ask him for the mask, and he refuses the mask of Ouroboros. And you have to steal it from him, but he's a solid B tier, I think.
okay. Where in B tier do you think you would put him? Like for example, would you put him ahead of the butler or
Yes.
behind?
Dude, the Butler in B tier is hilarious. He's ahead. He definitely has like a lot more bearing on the story. Yeah.
Okay. And what about Anna?
Nah,
Behind?
fine.
Okay. Let
Blood
me.
and Wine could be its own game, honestly. It's like,
Yeah, it really could.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, this guy's I remember him. He's a Witcher, right?
Yeah. Eskel.
Yeah,
Uh,
Eskel. He's
he's
kind
probably
of a
the
dick, right?
closest thing to Geralt in terms of just like Witcher, bunch of scars, like been through it all. The one thing with him, which I think Lambert, the other Witcher, didn't have, is he was there with Geralt when they were little kids. So they kind of grew up being Witchers together. He kind of stays away from like the sorceresses and all the politics and everything. So he's not like a famous guy. He's kind of just like a humble kind of, do your occasional drowner quest sort of thing. Which I can respect. He tries to like stay out of the limelight a little bit, and he's one of your boys, right? Obviously all the Witchers are there to help fight when it comes to Ciri. So I think he's somewhere top of B, maybe end of A even, but no, A is kind of too. I don't know actually. I don't know. Where do you stand on it?
Probably probably would put him middle of A,
Okay.
one ahead of the Baron.
Yeah, like honestly, none of the Witchers should be anywhere lower than B, in my opinion. Even
I
Lambert.
agree with you. I agree.
Yeah. All right. This bitch, her name is I think Eveline Gallo. She is part of the heist quest, so she's probably irrelevant, but I'll just say she's like she's like the one who like breaks you in. She like throws the rope up and then you get pulled up. So and with your case, it was with Casimir, the blow up dwarf. She's irrelevant. Let's just move on.
Yes. We
No
are
other
at just to
purpose.
give you a time, we are at 109.
God damn, bro.
We got
Are we
what?
gonna two-part it?
We
I have
probably
to.
are we're probably gonna have to. We've got a lot left.
I can be more brief with some of these.
I would say if they're not like, if it's not like Geralt level,
I'll just say irrelevant.
probably would not even you don't even have to say irrelevant. Like we could still put them in a tier, but definitely we're gonna have to be more brief probably, or we're gonna go for 3 hours.
Okay. I can just rip through a lot of these, honestly, because they're all relevant. Ewell Bersodi, he's the part of that same heist quest, irrelevant. He just is the one who kind of gets you to steal stuff from his brother. That dwarf, I think his name is Fergus. He's like the dwarf in Crow's Perch, who like basically like lies about how good he is at making armor. Also irrelevant. This
Irrelevant.
guy, I believe his name is Folan. I can't put him irrelevant because if you save him in the Hjalmar Giant Quest, he comes and fights at Kaer Morhen. He actually helps you. He's such a side character, like no real bearing, but just the fact that he was willing to come fight, there's no questions asked. I think you got to put him in C tier.
I think that's valid. I would throw him in C. Would you put him ahead of Dudu?